is the Diary of a Lady Band Director podcast.
Right? I mean, that's music, right? See, that's the problem. They don't have a hierarchy to me. And Lauren, your insight kind of from that admin or that, the culture policy. And we honest, it's just cheaper, right? It's just cheaper to hire somebody who's not certified, who, in college still, and they can engage them with buckets and sticks. And I'm gonna be the controversial one. It's gonna come. They only do that where the majority look like us.
Yeah, because the same program, if I could interject, the same program, they do that with the urban area, but they don't do that in the area where they have resources. With them, they send their orchestral musicians to do private lessons with them from 4th grade. So, it's not, I guess, equitable all around. This group, they could do boomsticks and they could go on trash, they could play on trash cans. But this other group, we can provide them with private lessons because they have the resources and their parents actually care about them being in music. And yeah, it's a shame.
Something else I've noticed though too is I've worked in like the extremes of both situations. Like I've worked in that school, and then I've also worked in that school with all the resources, right? One thing I've noticed, and my husband also worked in he worked at Beach High School in Savannah for 11 years. The Black schools, a lot of times, they'll just there seems to be an additional scheduling issue where they just put kids in our classes, like non-band kids in our classes all the time, and it'd be do something with it, make music. So maybe that's where it's coming from. But at the same time, I didn't have those problems when I was working at Richmond Hill, right? They just put people in the classes they signed up for. So I'm curious to know, why don't we offer more, extracurricular classes so that we can just stop throwing kids in, these other classes that they don't necessarily want to be in. But then when we're having to do things like pull out buckets or whatever, because they tossed 30, 40 kids in the class and was like, here, teach music or preach or teach whatever. We're just gonna put these kids in your band class, teach them something. Why are there not enough course offerings to give, the students what they need?
This is a common response I hear from my fellow colleagues, in that they're putting kids in a music class that the kids really just don't want to be in. And then there's nothing else for the kids to go into. And so music becomes this dumping ground for children who would rather be somewhere else. And that can create its own set of problems. So the things that I know my children, and just for reference, I am a mother of 6 kids, 3 who came through me and 3 who came to me when I remarried. And the ones in the house are 18. He's a senior. He's in the LGBTQ community. Go, baby, go. I have a 15-year-old who is a sophomore. I have a 13-year-old who's an 8th. Well, she's 14 today. And I have a 7-year-old who's in 2nd grade. And he has never had regular school since kindergarten, pretty much. So you got a whole host of issues that are coming into play here where we are still expected to produce. We're still being expected to produce. And to the effect of, how do you work with kids who don't really want to be here? Our administrators setting us up for the okie doke. I've had that happen where I've had to take my principal downtown for a level 3 hearing because there were things that I was being told to do that were not in alignment with an environment that's conducive to learning. So going back, I think TC had said something earlier about having vertical alignment. There wasn't any. It was, you're going to do what I said do because that's what I said to do. And that's how I'm running things up in here. So there was no collaboration or no consideration or care applied. And if we throw out care, if we throw out empathy, if we throw out the ability and willingness to listen, then we ain't got nothing else. I almost said it. We ain't got nothing else to do.